So some body semantics, na? Body semantics and entities we have learned. So in the semantic and entities, yesterday we learned about line break. We have blank space. We have pre-formatted, and we have what? So variables, code block, variables, and small, so big, and sample text. These all options we learned. BR, ampersand, NBSP, and pre-formatted is pre. Code blocks are code. Variables are var. Small text is small. Big text is big. Sample text is SAP. These we learned. So how to use them in where we use these different examples I showed you. Now let's see some other options, how they work. So you tried all these, you are practicing them, right? So these we just saw one syntax based example. Now concept wise in different places we will implement them. Later we will see how to implement them. And some example I already showed you where they are used. Now today we will see another, and that is headings. So we have headings. Another option is headings. In the body semantics, actually headings are defined by using HN element. Actually, N refers to heading level number 1 to 6. Heading level numbers you have 1 to 6. 6 heading levels are there, we can apply. Actually, what is the main purpose of heading is, so headings are used to keep topics and the titles SEO friendly. The topics and their titles can be SEO friendly, search engine friendly. For that, we need heading. So, syntactically, how we define, suppose H1, this is some heading 1, and like H2, that is heading 2. Like that, we define up to 6 levels of heading. H6, heading 6, that is heading 6. So generally, headings will have some predefined styles. Headings will have colors. Headings will have styles. By default, some styles are applied to heading. You see now, let's open our project, and we will see here in this. Yeah, we are writing some page, some headings HTML. Okay. Now in this page, we are having some web technologies and we are having some front end. We are having HTML. So it is a markup language, CSS. It configures styles like this. JavaScript. Okay. So it manipulates DOM. Okay. Now in this, we have some headings. Now, if you have headings, I want headings in a different appearance. Then generally what we do for this first one, I will put a H1, heading 1. Heading 1, you can see default it is having this. So it is having bold, it is having some line break, it is having some size like this. Now this is a child heading in that. Then I will give H2. H2 little bit different from 1. Similarly, in that this is the child heading in front end, then I will use H3. That means it looks like this. CSS is also same like HTML. So this also I will give H3. That means both are same. So headings gradually from 1 to 6, the size will decrease. And headings have some built-in style. Now here so many questions are there, I will tell you. Now the first question asked is the same appearance I can give without heading. That means without heading also I can give same appearance. Then why you need heading element? For example, you see for JavaScript, I'm writing some break. Don't worry what I'm writing, just observe. We have a font, we have bold, we have size, and we have break. You can see here JavaScript is same like HTML, CSS. It looks same. Now in interview, the question asked is if I can give same type of effect without heading, why you need heading? So the reason already in the definition I given. For a person who is watching your website, he feels it like heading, that's no problem. But in search engine optimization, SEO, it will recognize that it have only two headings in front end. There are two topics in front end. One HTML, another one CSS. JavaScript is ignored because what is the main intention of using heading element is to make our topics SEO friendly so that search engine can understand that, okay, this is a topic. Whenever it has to show summary, like this website have these topics, in that it will miss JavaScript now. For example, I will show you. You don't worry what logic I am writing, just observe. Suppose I am writing some logic, some topics. So I am accessing here. So heading 3. I am accessing this heading 3. I am writing here a logic. Total number of front end topics, how many? I have written some logic. You don't worry what I have written, just observe. And you see that it is going to show total number of front end topics 2. That means a robot uses a program. In that program, it recognizes only 2, but visually there are 3. That means it is considering this as one topic, this as another topic, but this is not as topic. Why? Because visually it looks like that, but technically robot misses it. Why? Because robot uses one logic to verify. And in that logic, that heading is missing. That means according to that search engines, they tell that your website have two front-end topics. It is missing JavaScript because it is not treated as heading. For a person who is watching, it may feel like heading, but technically it is not heading. So what is the main purpose of using heading? To keep our topics SEO friendly. Now see what I am doing. I will just change this entire JavaScript into heading. I will write JavaScript. Then see what happens when I run the same logic. This time it says total number of topics are 3. Now it's fine. That means headings are not for visual graphic. Headings are for making the topics SEO friendly. That is the main point. So here, the frequently asked questions. What are the frequently asked questions about this? First question is why we need an heading element if we can define styles explicitly. If we can define styles explicitly, why need an heading element? The answer is same. What is it? So it is required to keep the topics SEO friendly. To keep the topics SEO friendly. So SEO identifies the topic only when it is defined using heading style. Only when it is defined using heading style. That is the first basic question. Why you need heading? Why you need a heading element if you can define the same without heading element? The main concept is making it SEO friendly. Next question here is, what are the default styles defined for heading element? You have seen heading element. And when you saw the heading element, you saw some styles are applied to it. Can you name what styles are applied to it? We have heading 1. Can you tell me what styles are applied to this? What styles are applied? Font size. Huh? Font weight. Font weight is bold. Na? Yeah. Next. Font family is same. Not changed. Font family is same like other. Font family not changed. Anything else? Size, weight. Anything else? Actually, it is applying display block. Display block will not allow anything beside. It will come to next line. That means what are the default styles applied for a heading? By default, the styles applied for a heading are font size, font weight, and display block. Now, interviewer will ask you like, how do I remove bold for heading? I want heading, but I don't want bold. That's the point. I told you now, if you are experienced developer, I can conduct 1 hour interview just on heading. 1 hour complete interview only on HTML heading. And you will screw like you can't answer. You will think like Then what HTML I know? Heading means only H1 to H6. You will feel that when he starts asking questions, that means there are so many technical things and which are required in real time actually. Suppose I want heading, I don't want bold, then what? That's one important. So first point is, first answer you have. What are the default styles defined for heading element? Default styles defined for heading element. So every heading is configured with, one is font size. It is configured with font size. So another one is font weight. Another one is display block. It is configured with display block. Every heading is configured with font size, font weight, and display block. Now in interview, what they will ask you is, they will ask like how to remove any default style. How to remove any default style. By default, one style is working for it. I haven't written for heading. I haven't written bold. I haven't written font size, but it's working. How do you remove any default style? By using, we can do that by using CSS inheritance value that is unset. You have an CSS inheritance value called unset. By using that, we can remove. That means what you can do is here, you have heading 1 and I want to remove the bold for that. That means what is bold? How bold comes? Font weight will give bold. You have to write unset. Suppose you want to remove the font size unset. So you want display style. Then what you do? Display also unset. Now, suppose sometimes you are not sure what styles it is having. That means you are confused about the styles it is having. And whatever styles it is having, you want to remove. All unset. You can put it simple. That means when you are not sure about what styles it is using, then you can simply say all unset. That means whatever default styles are there, it will unset. Now, what is the speciality of this? Your headings are still SEO friendly, but it doesn't feel like heading now. They are still SEO friendly. That means they will not show like heading, but they are heading. That means they are SEO friendly and they are not in the same way how they actually have to be. We changed it. That means, see, I want to remove bold for this heading. Then generally what we do, beside that, I will type something like web technologies, UI development, something. Obviously, UI development will come down below because what is the style it is using? Display block. Okay, let's do one thing. In the style, wherever heading 1 is there, display, I said unset. Display unset, then automatically it comes in line. I don't want bold, then font weight also unset. That means it removes bold. I don't want the font size, then we have font size also unset. Then it will be normal, but still it is heading. That means technically it is heading, but whatever default styles are there, we remove them. Actually, if you want to remove all, then simply what you do, all as what? Unset. Then it will remove all. Any specific you want, you can remove. You want to remove all, just you put all. This is very common. So we have heading, but it's not just only for heading, for any element in future in HTML. If any element you have written and by default it is having some effects, those effects you can disable like this. But you should able to recognize which effect is applied. That means you need to have means you need to be very good in your CSS. Then you can understand what styles may be given to it. Then you can disable them, right? So that is one very important. That means how we can remove the default heading style, right? That's one option. So headings usually are for making our topics highlighted in the search engine optimization. Now, will SEO recognize your heading? Yes. But visually it is not like heading, right? Now, another question is, can we modify the default heading style? That means already heading one have some size. Can I increase more? Already heading have some size. Can I increase more? Yes, we can do. We can increase more than what it is. We can change color. We can change effects. That means we can modify the default heading style. Yes. What you can do, already heading is having some size. You can increase font size. You can increase 60 pixel. So you can set color as red. You can apply any effect for that. Font style as what italic. It doesn't have italics. We can set italics, alignment, background, borders, shadow, anything. So can we modify the default heading style? You can modify. We can modify the default heading style. We can do that. Then. So headings, initially, these points are enough. Some more are there, but little complex later you will learn related to styling and SEO, right? Initially, how to write headings, how do we control the default styles, right? That's what you need to learn, right? Next important one rule, some important note is here some this you can say rules actually. Rules. What are the rules? Do not use headings for highlighting any word or sentence in a context. That is the first thing. Another is do not use too many headings in a page. So it may spam your page. It may spam your page. Now, another point is there here. So when I say too many headings, people have a doubt like how many I can have. That's simple common sense actually. Like what you written a small paragraph. In that page have only two paragraph and given seven headings. That looks abnormal, right? You have two paragraphs or three paragraphs in a page and you have five, seven headings. That looks abnormal. That means it's not like how many headings I can have. It's just common sense. Like how much you are presenting in that, how many topics are there. And robots, because web spider, web crawler are robots, what they do, they see anything abnormal count, immediately they spam your page. Spam means they mark it as a waste. That means like dustbin. Spam is just like a recycle bin, dustbin. It goes into spam. And actually, even major high skilled professional developers also cannot control this spam. It's not possible very easily because we can't know how robots will read. That is very big problem with artificial intelligence, AI. right? What this AI is, it is not under our control. It's out of control. That means it will listen to you up to certain limit. After that, it will take over you. It will start controlling you. Then that is very dangerous to humankind or entire business environment. It will create a lot of loss, right? I already told you now, people are very much worried these days about AI, artificial intelligence. But remember, artificial intelligence like concepts are there from several years. Several years we are having them. Only the point is now they are getting popular. For example, do you know these days people learn a technology called Python? Very recently, very popular in software technology, Python. It is 30-year-old language. How now popular? 30-year-old language and now popular means that is not its problem. That is your problem. You don't know its ability still. Now you started identifying and you are thinking that you have invented some new thing. Nothing, it is already there. From 30 years we have that language. Suddenly people noticed it and people thought that okay, this will help us in this situation very much and became popular. 30 years old language now becoming popular. That means AI also there. That means AI is problem is it is not under our control. Under control. That's the reason many people fear that with AI jobs will go. We will not have much jobs. But remember, we will stop using AI after certain extent. We will not use much. We will not use much because we know its issues. We know its problems. Means you may be thinking like everybody telling about AI, you are saying that we will not use much. You mark my words. After 3-4 years, you will understand. Right? Why? Because these kind of revolutions internally we have seen so many. From past 20-24 years, we have seen so many. And we know that it is not under control. Recently, you might have heard the news. AI gone wrong, rogue. Have you seen? No? You haven't seen a latest news, right? That means Facebook. In Facebook and Microsoft also recently it gone rogue. Microsoft, do you know Microsoft recently 2 months, 2 months back, its entire cloud environment stopped for 4 hours. Right? It completely stopped. WhatsApp 6 months, 3-4 months back, WhatsApp stopped for 4 hours overnight. Yeah, you know that? Do you know why? We don't know. Actually, what is the point? They tried to implement some AI integration modules into that to make it better. But what they have done after developers kept the AI modules in them, they started building a new language and the robots started communicating with each other and they invented one new language in few hours. And with that language, they changed the entire application environment. Now developer don't know that language. That means it is out of control. Person who invented, so he don't know how to handle it now. And due to that, what they have to do, they have to stop all the servers. They have to disable those AI modules because 4 hours WhatsApp not worked because of this AI mess up, right? And due to that, approximately 14,000, 15,000 crores loss for Facebook. Just 4 hours. Approximately 14, 15,000 crores loss for them. Just 4 hours. You may be thinking like how much that money will lost, right? Simple. Suppose you see Amazon. Can you tell me how many people may be using Amazon right now all over world? Millions, huh? Millions. Everybody is trying to place at least 1 rupee order. 1 rupee order. And pay button is not working for 5 minutes. Then how much loss? At least 1 rupee everybody stopped placing order. right? For 5 minutes, pay button is not working, payment is not working. How much loss for them? Now imagine somebody is placing 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 order. This is fact actually. That is the reason we already expect that AI will be in limits now. We are not expecting much in future. That means we are expecting that this is enough. Too much is happening now. It will take over us. And when it's take over us, we can't control it. So already we realize this. We know this. That's the reason. What do you think? Chat GPT is more than Google. Google, Microsoft cannot think about that AI and Chat GPT came with that new innovation. No. Google is using quantum technology from several years. You know, quantum technology. Google, the modern generation computers are quantum computers. Google is using from several years. Only the point they don't make it available to outside world. Know about it. That means the point here is they just don't want to mess up everything now. Actually, it is very good to use AI, but limits because we know so many issues are there. These robots are major problem because robots cannot understand everything in a clear way. So that is the reason. Do you know? Suppose you see you sub Wipro, Infosys, TCS, Microsoft. So some company have to send a offer letter to you. You got selected in a company like Wipro or Infosys. They will send an email to you. They will tell you that please look into spam. That means what? What you are saying? You are Wipro, Infosys, TCS, and you are unable to control your email. You are saying that please look into spam. Why? Your email, while it cannot directly come to my inbox, means you are the technology maker. You can't control after all email come to inbox. Why you are worried about going into spam? Because fact is they can't control. They can't control it. That is the problem. So that's the reason to avoid spam, we need to avoid certain things in our design. That means as much as possible, don't use headings. Too many headings. Use limited set of headings. There is no count for that. Right? I hope you are clear. These two rules you should follow. Don't use headings to highlight any word or sentence. Another, don't use too many headings in a page. Keep it all reasonable and sensible, right? This is about headings. Heading concept is simple, but questions around it are complicated, right? Generally, in any website or YouTube channel, heading a 2 seconds topic, H1 to H6. But in interview, there are so many things to ask. They will ask like what styles it is using, how to remove the styles, right? In this situation, I want this heading like this. Then how you will handle it? These all are real requirements actually, right? Next important after understanding headings, another one we have block quotes, and paragraphs. We have block quotes and paragraphs. Block quotes and paragraphs. Actually, block quote. Block quote is used to summarize the topic. Block quote is used to summarize the topic. SEO can make a summary from the block quotes. From the block quotes. So that is block quote. So we generally write block quote and we put some summary. These are all SEO friendly related. Another option is paragraph. Paragraphs are used to separate blocks of content in a context. Paragraphs are used to separate blocks of content in a context. So generally we use P for paragraph, your text. So just you put some text in that. We have block quote paragraph. Again, so many requirements are there here. Point is very simple. Block quote is block quote, paragraph is paragraph. But again, in real world requirements, so many points are there. Let's see how. Actually, block quote and paragraphs are mostly used like this. Let's see. Suppose I'm creating here, I'm creating some content. Okay, let's see. I'm writing some information here. So this is heading. Okay. Suppose we have news headlines. News, some today news, something. Just roughly, I kept something like this here. And here we have some paragraphs of information. P for paragraph. That means I will add some paragraphs of information. And you will see that the paragraphs will be like this. And by default, now I already told you, we will not prefer using a div for them. Why? If I put them in div, what will happen? This topic is separated from this one. All are related to each other, but I want to separate them. Then how you will do that? By using paragraph. Paragraph will have a line break above and below. By default, paragraphs have a break. They have a break below and they have a break above. They have a break. Now, in these paragraphs, the first paragraph is highlights about the news. Then usually what we do, so for heading, we will write align center. Align is already we learned in body. We can use align, that is center. Now this first paragraph is a summary of the complete news. Then usually we put in block quote. When you put in block quote, usually what happens, it looks left, right, some indentation is present. So this I can do with ordinary padding also. Then why to write in block quote? Why? Because now search engines, what they do is they will not read the complete paragraphs. They will just get the summary from block quote. That means usually what we do for more information, means more effect, we will write block quote, text align, I will give justify, and justify will put left and right block, and padding left. Padding left is some 200, 300 pixel. Padding right also 300 pixel. Then you can see font style as italic, italics, right? And you can see it looks like this. It is not about appearance. Appearance I can do without block quote also. If I put a simple div, in div also we can write such appearance. I can give padding left, I can give padding right, I can give italic. Then why to use block quote container? That means now search engines, what they do, when they want a summary about all the news that you have given, or summary about a lengthy topic you have given, they cannot make summary. Robots cannot read your content and make a summary. Still, robots are not such intelligent enough. Robots means SEOs, search engine optimization. AI tools are intelligent now. That means there are separate AI tools. What you do, you give this entire mat information to an AI tool, it will make a summary and tell you, saying that this is about this. But Google and search engines still don't have that now. Just they started innovatively using it. You know, Microsoft uses a AI module called Copilot. Recently, it is using Copilot in its search and all. What it is doing, it is making a summary. Copilot is making a summary and showing some summary, but still it is not completely implemented. For example, you see, I'm searching for some information like, so what, what is an array? Something like this I am searching. Then what it is doing, you see, it is showing something like this. That means some summary it is going to display and show to you, right? Actually, when I'm using Google, suppose, and here I'm using like, so what is an array? And you can see that it is making a summary like this. This is a AI module. You see AI overview. It is still not completely ready. Means just they're still working on it. They just recently started this one. That means earlier you used to get only results. Now you will get the summary. That means a summarized content from many concepts. That means from many results, a summary will come. That's good. That's happening now. Such summary like concept you can do by using this. And remember, robot cannot make a summary. Summary also we have to design. We have to design the summary and give it to robot. Robot will take it and present it. That's what it can do. So how you will summarize any concept? You can summarize any concept by using block code. So block code by default have left padding, right padding, but it's limited. You can add more, but it is not about appearance. It is about SEO, search engine optimization. So this is block code and these are paragraphs, right? Now here again, so many questions are there. That means the frequently asked questions about paragraphs and block quotes. That means what are the general requirements about paragraphs and block quotes? First, when you are working with paragraphs, block quotes, when you are working with them, one common requirement. So what is that requirement is how to set first line indent for paragraph or block quote. That is very common requirement. How to set first line indent for paragraph or block quote. It's a very common requirement. First line indent for paragraph or block quote. First line indent means you see that generally when you are working with paragraph and block quote, this first line should start with some space. First line should start with some space. That's very common requirement. Then how do you do that? That means how you can keep first line indent for a block quote or a paragraph. Generally, what we have to do for that. So we have to do that by using CSS text indent attribute. By using text indent attribute. So you have to put for paragraph or block quote. What you can do, you can set text indent. Text indent, some pixels. It is used to set first line indent for paragraph. So for paragraphs, block quotes, first line indent, you can define by using this text indent. So one common requirement is this. That means I want first line from some gap. So what we do in the block quote, we have to just give text indent as 200 pixel. And you see first line will start with some gap. I want just only 100 pixel. Then it will be from some gap. This is the first line indent. It is very common everywhere when we present paragraphs. We want this very common. And what you will do? Will you use ampersand, NBSP, NBSP? No. If you use space manually also, it will ignore. It will not show. That means, for example, for first paragraph, I want some space. What you will do? You will put space bar. No, it will not give you that space. Then how you will keep the first line with some space? So we will put a class para1. Why? Because I don't want for all paragraphs. Then what we will do? Dot para1. Okay. For that, what we have to do? Text indent. Text indent some 100 pixel. That means it will set from space. That means the first line of paragraph will start with some space, right? So you given some 50 pixel, it will get from some space. That is very common thing. One regular requirement while working with paragraphs, how to set the first line indent, right? Next important is another important, how to set spacing between lines, words, and chars. This is also very common requirement. Whenever you design a paragraph, another common requirement is I want space between lines, space between words, space between characters. Then for that, we have by using CSS attributes. What are those? We have letter spacing, letter spacing. You have word spacing, and we have line height. We have to use them. Letter spacing, word spacing, line height. So you know the meaning of them itself tell. Space between letters means characters. Space between words and space between lines. Between lines. We can set by using this. For a paragraph or block quote, we can say letter spacing some 5 pixel, 2 pixel is enough. Word spacing some 5 pixel, and line height as some 30 pixel. Like this we can define. Space between letters, space between words, and space between characters. Right. Now, another important is, let's see here first, how do we do? For a paragraph or for a block quote, this is also very common, right? Suppose you see we have a block quote here, and we want some space between the lines here. Then what we will do? In the block quote, we have to add line height. Line height 30 pixel. That means some gap between lines will come. We have space between lines. Space between lines, we use line height. So letter spacing, 2 pixel is enough. Space between letters will come. The space between letters. You want some space between words, then word spacing. Word spacing is suppose 20, 20 is too much. Here 10 pixel, it will be like this. So we have space between the lines, we have space between the words, and space between the characters. You can add anywhere. It's not just only paragraph. Suppose you see there is heading 1. We have letter spacing 15 pixel. Then you have space between letters. That means we can increase the space between letters. That is what you can apply by using letter spacing, word spacing, line height, right? So how to set space for first line, how to set space between letters, words, and line. Next, another requirement is another important question is how to set drop cap. Drop cap for paragraph. It's a very common requirement. How to set drop cap for paragraph. A dropped capital letter is very common for paragraph. How do you set a drop cap for paragraph? Whenever you write paragraphs, these are very common things, right? How do we set a drop cap for paragraph? For example, you see, what is drop cap? Suppose you know you have softwares like MS Word and all, word processors. If you know the drop cap. Suppose we are having some paragraph of information here. Let's copy some paragraph here. We have some paragraph here. Now, you see in insert, there is a drop cap here. So we have a drop cap, where drop cap. Then you can see dropped, it will be like this. That's a dropped capital letter, the first letter, large capital letter. It will drop few lines down. That's very common requirement. A magazine, newspaper, or anything online, stories, publishing, they need this very common. Now, how do you do this in HTML? That means how you present a drop cap for paragraph, right? To create a drop cap, generally what we need. So many are required here. To create drop cap, what are the concepts you need? First, up to this, I will copy example for you. I will put this example here. Okay. In this, I have already letter spacing, line height, and all this. Okay, let's see drop cap. How you set a drop cap, some techniques we need to follow. So first, what you have to do is you have to access first letter of paragraph by using first letter class. We have a first letter class. Double colon first letter. That is a CSS class. Actually, this is CSS class. By using this CSS class, you can access first letter. So drop cap is usually a first letter of paragraph. That means the first letter will be a large capital letter. Then how you will access only first letter? By using this class, we can access. After that, what you have to do? So first letter and increase the size and change the style. That is optional. Changing the style is optional. Increasing size is compulsory. Increase the size and change the style. After that, size and change the style for first letter. After that, make it float left. You have to make it float left. It should float left. And after that, set line height. That is nothing but space between lines. Then you will get it perfectly. These are some techniques you need to follow to create such drop caps. So access the first letter. So syntactically, when we have a paragraph, so to access double colon first letter, it will access the first letter. And first letter, we have font size. Font size is given as some 40 pixel. You can have font family as some Arial. So any font family you can give. Then you have to use float as left. Then you better use line height. line height will keep the alignment correctly between the lines. These are the techniques we need to implement. So how do you set a drop cap for paragraph? This is how you need to set the drop cap. Right. Now let's see how we can apply this. So for that, I will take the first one. Okay. I will clean up all this. Take one paragraph and some text. So some text in the paragraph. Okay. And we will keep the paragraph alignment here, justify. Align, you can add justify. Alignment is justify. Oh, what is problem here? Here I haven't given anything. Fine. Yeah. So align as justify. Okay. Now this is the paragraph we are having. Now what we need to do is access the first letter of paragraph. That means double colon first letter. That will access the first letter of paragraph. Increase the font size. Font size is some 40, 50 pixels. Okay. Make it font weight bold. So you can leave the same letter or font family. So many font families are there you can use. Suppose I given like Arial, just sample normal. You can see a large capital letter, but still it is not ready as drop cap. So what I will do, float as left side float. Line height, I will give as 20 pixel. Then it will come like this. It depends on line height. Line height 30 pixel, 40 pixel, it will come like this. 30, 40 pixel, then it will come in this way. It depends on even the size now. Suppose you keep 60 size, it will be like this. So you say 70, 80 size, it will be in this way. It depends on line height and it depends on the content. So line height is important. Line height is important to keep everything correctly. 50, it will be little now. That's how we have to create a drop cap. You know, padding right, padding left, you can add different. Font family depends on what you want. So what you want, Algerian, something. Now it will be different font. So there are different font styles, effects, you can apply them. And this is drop cap. And it's a very common thing in websites, right? And how do you create that? That's how we create a drop cap. This is example also for that. That means dropped capital letter, drop capital letter. So first line space between lines and words and characters, and how you set a dropped capital letter. Next important, another regular requirement while working with paragraphs is here. So one more question asked is, generally in paragraphs, um, we have scrollable content in paragraph. Means we need to make the paragraph scrollable. That means how you can how to design a scrollable paragraph content. How to design a scrollable paragraph content. That is important. And this is also very common requirement So we want to create some scrollable paragraph content. How do you create scrollable paragraph content? For example, we can't show lengthy concept. For example, we are having a heading, terms, terms of service. Okay. And you can see under this some paragraphs of information is present. One paragraph, or we can put lot of paragraphs also. This is one paragraph. Like that, we put some paragraphs. Okay. Now I will copy this and I will keep them inside a container div. And this div will have a class container. It's just a container. And I want this much of content, and I don't want to occupy so much huge space on my screen, right? That means then I want to display all this in this area. How you will show all that in that area? That means in that area, how you'll show everything? I can't show 10 pages information scrolling up and down, right? Page scrolling is very lengthy. Then what you do? Simple. To do this, some techniques we need to follow. First, you access the container. For container, I will keep a border. Container will have a border 1 pixel, solid and gray. Container will have padding some 30 pixel. And container will have a width. Width is some 400 pixel. Then it will be in this way. We have some content like this. Now for container, I am giving height as 300 pixel. Then container height is like this. But outside the height, lot of information is there. Then this is called overflow. This is overflowing. Then what I have to do is just say overflow hidden. That means don't show overflowing content. But if I don't show overflowing content, how he will see the rest of content? Then we will make overflow as scroll. Then overflowing content will scroll. Now when it is scrolling, this is unnecessary. This I don't want. Why you have a horizontal scroll bar? I am scrolling only up and down. That is the reason better you use overflow auto. Then what is needed for your screen, it will decide whether horizontal, vertical, according to width, height, it will decide. And it will get only one. Then you can just scroll. That means if there is lot of content to show in, we will not show like a pages of information. Just in one screen, we can make it scrollable. And this is very common requirement. Very common requirement of this. So we do this by using how we can make scrollable paragraph by controlling overflow, by controlling overflow. So overflow for container with specific, with specified height and width, with specified height and width. By controlling the overflow for container with specified height and width. So how do we do that? You can write for a paragraph if there is only one paragraph. So what do you do? Height 200. So width is some 400 and border. So 1 pixel solid gray. And we have padding some 10 pixel and overflow. You can put auto. Actually overflow, it can have hidden, scroll and auto. You have hidden, scroll and auto. You can hide, you can scroll, and you can set auto. And the scroll bar will come only if your content is more than the height and width. If you have less content, it will not show any scroll bar. It depends on how much height and width you have for container and how much content is inside that container. Right. Another important requirement with paragraphs is how to set ellipses for paragraph. This is also very common requirement. How to set ellipses for paragraphs. That means what is ellipsis? How do you set ellipses for paragraphs? That's also important. For example, sometimes what happens is you have a lot of content, but we cannot show everything. That means I will copy this. This is the example for that. Okay, right. Ellipsis is nothing but suppose you see YouTube. Okay, this is YouTube channel, some YouTube channel, Naresh IT, something is there. Now you see this is ellipsis. Dot, dot, dot. That means you have some more to read. And if user interested, then he will click on it. How you will do that? That means this is very important because whenever we show some content on our screens in websites, ellipses are very common. That means you see any shopping site or anything, they show some description about a product. They say that more, dot, 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 more. That is ellipsis. That means how you display this. These are very important. That's the reason I told you now, people with lot of confidence go to interview. But when interviewer starts questions in HTML itself, you will feel like you don't know anything about HTML. Right? That means you will be thinking about huge things, JavaScript questions, React questions, but you can't answer HTML questions first. First, get prepared to them. Right? Later, you will think about React and Angular and like JavaScript. Right? HTML itself, interview, they screw like anything. For experienced people, especially, so many. Why? Because for fresher, they don't expect them. That means they don't expect a fresher to have so much knowledge about styling and all. Basic design, finish, enough. Because we will teach him, we will train him, he will learn. Right? Enough. Basic designing is enough. So much in depth, everything he must able to design, not possible. Our seniors will guide them, no problem. But a senior, he must have knowledge of all this already. Without that, no senior. Right? He must know all this, how we can manage. Right? Now, how do we set this? Again, so many points are there. See, how you can make it ellipsis like, right? Usually what we do is, for example, so we have some paragraph content. So I just have some paragraph content. Okay, just let's put like this. You can have more. Now what we need is, so we want this to be displayed in a small area. Then what I will do? For paragraph, I am going to give, for your understanding sake, I am giving border. Later we can remove border. Solid and gray. Okay. Padding is 2 pixel. Padding is there. Width is some 300, 400 pixel width is there. It's like this. So first requirement is nothing but what we want is, we want this entire paragraph in one line only because I don't want to show multiple lines. In one line, I want to display. Then generally this going to the right margin of paragraph and coming to next line automatically. This is called word wrap. Word wrap is a concept where once you start typing continuously, when it reaches the border right, automatically it comes to next line. If you remove wrap, then it will be continuous in one line. That means what I have to do first, I need to remove this word wrap. Word wrap is common. You see, it is in general notepad. In notepad, you have an option. What is it? Word wrap. If I remove word wrap, what will happen? I type something, then automatically it continues. It will never come to next line. It will continue. It will not come to next line until or unless you hit enter, right? That means now what we have to do. So we need to set the wrapping. We need to remove the wrap. How to remove the wrap? We have to remove the wrap by using an option called white space. White space, no wrap. That means it removes the wrapping and display in one line. White space is an attribute used to remove. It is used to remove the wrapping and it will put in one line. Now you know what to do. Overflowing content, hide it. That means what you do, overflow as what? Hidden. That means don't show overflowing content. Hide the overflowing content. And some text which is overflowing, then what we have to do, text overflow, you have to set ellipsis. Then it will put dot, dot, dot. That means the overflowing text, we put ellipsis. Then it will put dot. Later, what we will do, we will put link there. Link means more. When user clicks, it will open. No need of link. Actually, what you can do, you can simply go to paragraph. In the paragraph, you can add title. In HTML, title is an attribute used to display screen tips. You can display screen tip. You just add lorem. Okay, this entire paragraph you copy there. Huh? This entire paragraph you put in the title again. Then what happens is, this is the content. When I move the mouse onto it, it will show the complete tip. That means when you move the mouse pointer onto this, it will display detail. Title you can use for any element, div, span, heading, paragraph, anywhere. Title is used for showing screen tips. We have to use title for screen tips. For example, I'm writing here some heading HTML and I will put a title. What is it? Hypertext markup language. Like this I will use. Now what happens when I move the mouse? It will show this detail about it. Right? Those titles are important. We can set a title for that. Now, can I change that color effects of the title? No, you can't change. For that, you need to do some JavaScript shadow DOMs. Right? Initially, by default, a title will come. Right? And this is ellipsis. Ellipsis means we have more content to show. Then we put this kind of concept. That means we don't want to show everything on one screen because it's not possible. We will just put highlights. If he wants, he will click and he will go more. Later, what we will do, we will make it clickable. That means we will make that clickable. That means user will click, then it will pop up or it will navigate to detail page. That's for that we use links there. So now what are the options required for ellipsis? So many points are there. First, what you have to do, first, so remove text wrapping for wrapping for paragraph using white space attribute. You have to remove by using white space attribute. After that, hide overflowing content using overflow hidden. After that, you have to just set text overflow to ellipsis. That's what you have to do. We have to set text overflow to ellipsis. Width, height, border, your wish. That depends on your requirement. You want border or not, you want width, height or not, right? So syntactically, the paragraph should have these options. So width is some 400 pixel. Some border is 1 pixel solid gray. Padding is some 5 pixel. Okay. And overflow is hidden. But overflow hidden, we better. There is no order. You can write anything, but I will write here white space. White space is no wrap, then overflow hidden, then text overflow. We have to set ellipsis. That's what we need to do. Right. Actually, this overflow concept yesterday you might have seen, observed. I showed you lead code example. When you saw the lead code example, in that lead code example, you might have observed there is overflow. This is lead code. You might have seen in the left panel how they designed scrollable. That's what you learned today. Means how we can make the area scrollable. So it is paragraphs of information, how it is scrolling like this. That's what you done today. Right. And this is ellipsis. That means how you can set the ellipsis. This is example. This is example for ellipsis. Now with paragraphs, some more points are there. How we can display paragraphs in multiple columns, like a newspaper edition, continuous columns. That means, so you have newspaper editions. They will magazines, newspapers, they put information in continuous columns, right? How we can create such continuous columns? That's another concept that we'll see next session, right? First, you need to try this. Then still some more examples with paragraph I have to show you, right? I told you now already, these are simple topics actually. That means block code paragraph in a YouTube channel will be 3 seconds, 4 seconds topic. Block code for block code, P for paragraph, finish. But in reality, implementing them requires a lot of things to understand. It's not just like that, right? We need so many to know about it, around it, to implement for real world requirement. That's what we are learning now. Next point, how to use the paragraph like a newspaper edition. That means you see online newspapers will be there now, right? What is it? Suppose Indian Express, or we have like Deccan Chronicle. Yeah. So many online newspapers will be there. You see, when you look at these newspapers, they are going to display some, you see, the news is going to display in paragraphs like this. That means columns like this. I select something and you see the columns like this. That means I want like this. That means how you can design this part. That means columns side by side arranged. And what is the point is they are not grid. They are not grid. Why? Because grid means it will divide into columns. The content of one column will not come to the next, but here it will come. It is a different approach. That means here this column finish, the continuation will be right side. This continuation will be here. These are continuous columns. We will try to design this. In the next session, we will do that. Right? Monday, we will do it. Right? In Monday session, we will continue with paragraph and we will see how to design this one. Newspapers like screen, how we do that. And if you can do, next we have text effects. Text effects means we have font size, color, and all. So if we learn that, then we will continue our template now. Our template means shopper template is there. Rest of things, everything we can design now. We'll see. Monday will continue. Okay, right.